Hey everyone, welcome back to Noiseberry Wrestling. It's time for another predictions video. AEW All Out is going live very, very soon, probably when this video comes up. I'm recording it 11 a.m. on Sunday morning. I literally just finished watching Collision from last night. I wanted to make sure I'd seen that, so I knew the full card. Obviously, the big story going into All Out is that CM Punk was let go yesterday on Saturday. I might do a separate video talking about that, but it was 100% the right call, and I think AEW is going to be much, much better without CM Punk. So CM Punk drama and news aside, this is a very strange video to make literally a week after my all-in predictions. To go from the biggest show in wrestling history, easily the biggest AEW pay-per-view they've ever done with All In, to this card that we're going to go over today. All Out is just gone from one of their main pay-per-views of the year to such an afterthought of a card. Like, this is a real letdown of a show, and I wouldn't blame anyone for skipping this one. I think I'll probably still be buying it. I still haven't bought it as of 11 a.m. this morning. But I think there's enough matches there to justify me buying it, but I wouldn't blame anyone for skipping this one, because it's a real nothing of a pay-per-view. It's a glorified Dynamite. So we've got 3 matches on the pre-show this time. The first match is Athena, Mercedes Martinez, and Diamante versus Hikaru Shida, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue. Just a bit of a nothing 6-woman tag team match. I assume that Sky Blue's team is going to win because she is from Chicago and the pay-per-view is in Chicago. Can't really predict who she's going to pin out of those 3. Maybe Athena to set up a future title match on Ring of Honor, possibly. But I'm pretty sure Sky Blue's team is going to win and Sky Blue will get the pin. The next match is the over-budget Battle Royale, where I believe the winner gets to choose a charity of their choice, and that charity will get $50,000 donated to it. Don't know any of the participants as of right now. I don't think I can actually predict this. Just trying to think of who might be in there. I mean, it could be maybe Hangman Adam Page. I mean, he's not on the card, and he might want to be there. So, yeah, just throwing out a wild guess, someone that the crowd would be happy to see win. I think Hangman Page. So that's my real out of left field guess for this one, because I don't know any of the participants. And then the final match on the pre-show is the Acclaimed with Dennis Rodman versus Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and Jay Lethal for the AEW World Trios Championship. The Acclaimed literally just won the Trios titles a week ago, as I correctly predicted. Go me. Didn't do great on the predictions otherwise. I think it was like 5-4, so maybe it'll be better today. But yeah, since the Acclaimed just won the titles a week ago, they're not going to drop them to Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and Jay Lethal. A faction who still does not have a name, as was made very obvious when they tried to recruit Dennis Rodman to their faction, and Jeff Jarrett just said, join this family. So the nameless faction I do not believe is going to win this one, so I think the Acclaimed are retaining their titles. And now, as of this morning, it looks like we've got 10 matches on the main card, so it's going to be a long show still, but they're not 10 very exciting matches, I'll be honest. Again, I just used the Wikipedia list of matches for doing this video. I don't believe this is going to be the actual order. I think Wikipedia just kind of lists them in order they're announced, apart from if they're on the pre-show. But then again, it also looks a bit random, so I'm just going to follow the Wikipedia order, because why not? So the first match they've got listed here is Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin for the AEW TNT Championship. This is actually kind of a tricky one to predict. Like I predicted at All In, Darby Allin did win the coffin match, give him momentum going into this match. I could kind of see it going either way. Like, I think Darby Allin's probably most likely to win, but Christian Cage and Luchasaurus have been so good with the TNT belt. They've also had it for a long time, so I think I'm going to go with Darby Allin winning the TNT Championship here. That I'm not 100% sure on that one at all, but Darby Allin is my prediction. Next is a match that I'm really looking forward to, is Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs, just a regular singles match. Also kind of a tricky one to predict, I think. I think Miro has actually like a really poor win-loss record. So I think he's probably winning this one. I think he needs a big win. I think it'll be a great match anyway, but I feel like pinning Miro would do really good for Powerhouse Hobbs, but I still think Miro kind of needs the win here, a nice big pay-per-view win, especially if they want to do something with him on Collision. He still hasn't really been doing much. So another hard to predict one, but I'm going with Miro on this one. In fact, most of these are kind of difficult to predict, I think, except for like a couple of them, like the Acclaimed one I thought was easy. Next, we got Chris Statlander defending the TBS Championship against Ruby Soho. If I wasn't following AEW stories at all, I would see Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho and think there's no way Ruby Soho is winning. But just with the story they're telling with the Outcasts, and the fact that Saraya won the Women's Championship, sort of makes me think Ruby Soho could win. And then you'd have Ruby and Saraya both with titles, and poor Toni Storm not the only one in the group without a title, and kind of spiraling further down into her a great character that she's portraying right now. So I don't think it's entirely out of the question for Ruby Soho to win. I'm still going to predict Chris Statlander retains, because she hasn't really done much with the TBS Championship since she won it. I think she could do with a pay-per-view win like Miro. This one could really go either way, but I'm going to go with Chris Statlander, but I would not be surprised if Ruby Soho won. Another match just announced on Collision last night was Bryan Danielson versus Ricky Starks in a strap match. That's one of the matches that makes me think the pay-per-view will be worth it in the end. That and the next one that we're going to talk about afterwards. I think this one is pretty surely going to be a Ricky Starks win. Bryan Danielson doesn't seem to want to win too much. I think he's very happy putting over younger guys and putting over the new talent, and I think a Ricky Starks win here will kind of help solidify him as a top star in Collision. I don't think Danielson would really get too much out of a win here. I think he'd just be happy to have the shit beaten out of him with a strap. So I'm predicting Ricky Starks will win this strap match. The next match, and is one of the other ones that I think is going to make the pay-per-view worth it, is Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita in a singles match. They first faced each other years ago now, like probably more than a decade ago, I think, in DDT wrestling. So this is quite a lengthy story going on here. There's a lot of story here with Don Callis betraying Kenny Omega and joining up with Takeshita, and Takeshita's heel turn. I predicted it all in that Kenny Omega would lose because pinning Kenny Omega is a big deal. I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna go all in, I guess, and say Takeshita is going to beat Kenny Omega in a singles match, because it does a lot for Takeshita. It really does. I guess there's also the possibility that Don Callis will get involved and he and Takeshita will cheat to win. I think pinning Omega clean would be great for Takeshita. I think also cheating to win would be good heat as well. So I think it's kind of win-win if Takeshita beats Omega. It's really hard to bet against Kenny Omega. You know, he is the best bout machine. I could see him winning, but I am predicting Takeshita wins this match. So I guess the matches we talked about so far have mostly made sense for a pay-per-view card. Kind of a lot of the rest of this card, except for the presumably main event, really is just a glorified Dynamite. So the next match we've got is Bullet Club Gold versus FTR and the Young Bucks. That's not a pay-per-view quality match. I'm sorry. That is a Dynamite main event, or like a Fighter Fest or Fight for the Fallen main event. I've really soured on FTR recently. Dax's podcast and all his stupid comments really made me kind of dislike him. Cash Wheeler always seemed kind of normal, except for the last like 3 weeks, where 2 weeks ago it came out he'd been charged for threatening someone with a firearm. This past Collision, right after CM Punk was fired for potentially assaulting Tony Khan, Cash Wheeler came out and did the CM Punk symbol. Really, really stupid. Anyway, that's not part of the predictions. I just needed to, rant a little bit about FTR. Going into this match, Jay White pinned Dax Harwood pretty much clean, I think. There was a little bit of interference on the outside, but he kicked out of a roll-up or a small package, and then just hit Blade Runner to pin Dax Harwood. Just looking at the people in this match, there's not really, I'd say there's not really anyone on the FTR Young Bucks team who could be pinned, but Dax Harwood did just get pinned on Collision. You know, on the Bullet Club Gold side, Austin or Colton Gunn are pretty likely to get pinned, I guess. This is a pretty hard one to predict, and it probably shouldn't be. You know what, I'm going to go for another bold prediction on this one. I'm going to predict that one of the Guns will pin one of FTR. I think they're going to pin Cash Wheeler, and that'll set up a future title match between the Guns and FTR. That is my very bold prediction. Next, we've got the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match on an AEW pay-per-view. Great. It is Better Than You, Baby, Adam Cole and MJF defending the titles against the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver. On Collision, Adam Cole did a promo saying, you know, they've just won the titles, they're not going to drop them anytime soon. I disagree. I mean, I don't think they're dropping them tonight. I don't think they're going to hold them for very long, because it's all just a story beat in Cole and MJF's story. But I don't really see them losing the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles to the Dark Order. No offense to them. I think they could probably lose them back to Aussie Open or something like that at some point. But I think that Cole and MJF are going to retain the titles tonight. Next, and this is the real eye roller, is Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. There's 2 Ring of Honor matches on this AEW pay-per-view, and like when they announced that one, I was like, what is this pay-per-view? Like, Jesus, I'm sure it'll be good, but man, I don't watch Ring of Honor. I don't watch AEW to watch Ring of Honor title matches, so it's just annoying that it's on an AEW pay-per-view. I think there's pretty much no way Shane Taylor's winning this match, so I think it's pretty much a given that Samoa Joe will retain this. I think if he's going to drop the title, it'll probably be on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. It's not happening tonight. The next glorified Dynamite match is Eddie Kingston and Katsuyori Shibata versus Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Just a regular tag team match. Great, you know, bad blood between Claudio and Eddie Kingston. Wheeler always takes the pins in these kinds of matches. He just lost to Eddie Kingston this Wednesday on Dynamite. I know, like, Claudio's going to do everything he can to avoid tagging in against Eddie during this match. Kind of a tricky one to predict, because, I mean, there's not really any stakes in this one. I assume it's going to kind of set up Eddie versus Claudio somewhere down the line. That would be a good pay-per-view match, wouldn't it? I'm really struggling to predict this one just because there's like no stakes to it. I think the end goal is Eddie versus Claudio. I just don't really know what the best way for them to get there is with this match. I guess, you know, I'll have Eddie. I think I'll predict that Eddie will pin Claudio, even though they won't face off too much against each other in the ring, and that'll set up a Ring of Honor World title match for the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view, probably. So yeah, I'm going to predict that Eddie will pin Claudio in this match. And then what is presumably the main event is Orange Cassidy defending the AEW International Championship against Jon Moxley. So I think with this match, Miro versus Hobbs, Danielson versus Starks, and Omega versus Takeshita, those 4 matches kind of push it into making it an okay pay-per-view and probably worth picking up to watch tonight. The rest of the card is just kind of there. Like, I'm sure it'll still be good, but it just doesn't look like an all-out pay-per-view card. But with those 4 matches, those should be pretty good. Again, quite a difficult match to predict. Orange Cassidy's all banged up. He's successfully defended the title 31 times, I believe, is the story that's going right now. Jon Moxley is obviously going to be his toughest test yet. It could go either way, but I predict that Orange Cassidy will retain the title here. I think him pinning Jon Moxley does far more for him than Moxley pinning Cassidy. It still wouldn't be a surprise if Orange Cassidy lost, because he is banged up and Jon Moxley is kind of like the final boss of AEW. He's tremendous. But I do think that Cassidy will get a lot more from a win here, so I'm predicting Orange Cassidy retains. And so I'm just going to pop up on screen now a kind of a table of all the matches and all my predictions, just so you've got them all handily available to look at right at the end here. But that will do it for this video. Let me know if you're going to be watching All Out. Are you skipping this one because it's kind of a not great card? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!